Good morrow, lovely little ghosts, and welcome to the Dark Orchard for Laura Watson's 13 Days of Vlogoween Disney Countdown.
As was said in my intro, this is a Vlogoween video. More specifically, I'm going to be doing a Merida-inspired SFX makeup look. Now, so far throughout this series, I've been trying to give you different ways of doing different things. Today is no exception. I ventured out into the outside world to the wonderful place called Spirit Halloween. And at Spirit Halloween, I picked something up. I'll show you that in a moment, but right now I want to explain where this makeup look is coming from before I show you the thing. So my idea is, what if Merida were attacked by a bear? We get the cute, wholesome Merida hanging out with bear kind of thing, but what if a bear attacked her? I'm going to show you how to do a bite mark using a prosthetic. And that's where the item from Spirit Halloween comes in, because I bought a bite mark prosthetic to use specifically for this idea. This is the item. It's the Megabyte prosthetic, and it actually comes with some spirit gum and some blood. I will not be using spirit gum. It irritates my skin. Odd, I know, because most people are allergic to latex and not spirit gum. I'm the opposite. I think I'm allergic to spirit gum because it really irritates my skin and makes it kind of feel burny. So I'll be using liquid latex instead. However, if you're more prone to spirit gum, you can use spirit gum. So without further delay, let's get started. First, we're going to open the bite. And the blood that they've sent is messy blood. It's very liquidy. See how it moves? So I'm most likely not going to be using this. I'll use scab blood instead, just because I don't feel like getting messy. Just because I don't feel like getting it all over my outfit. This is the prosthetic. It's very nice. It's got the bite indentions, but it's also got really thin edges, so it's easy to blend. So hopefully it's going to be easy to blend, and I'm glad that it's small instead of like a full neck prosthetic kind of bite, because, well, I got a tiny neck. So what I'm going to do is go along the edge and go along the back side of the prosthetic with liquid latex, and then we're going to build it from there. So I'm going to put the bite mark like about here. It's about the same spot that I did the My Bloody Valentine pickaxe wound from 2 Valentine's Days ago. Liquid latex. And the reason I chose to do it here instead of directly on the neck, my neck has wrinkles in it, and the liquid latex just wouldn't have stuck the way it'll stick a little further down. So now I'm going to go along the edge and apply liquid latex to the edges. Another thing I really love about this prosthetic is that it comes with the red already in the middle to create some depth. So even if you don't have a lot of skill with makeup, you still already have your base here. Okay. Okay. So already that looks super cool. But now we're going to blend it out with some makeup once it dries, and then do the blood to make it actually stand out and look really cool. I'm actually going to take a Q-tip, and look how cute this little Q-tip thing is. It's like a succulent, but it's got Q-tips in the middle. But I'm going to take a Q-tip and my liquid latex, and I'm going to make sure that that seam is a little bit more blended. And the way that I usually blend these is to do sort of a dragged motion from prosthetic to skin. And that way it just looks like the skin was pulled towards the bite, and you hide the seam. And one thing that you really want to pay attention to when you're using a prosthetic wound instead of creating your own is you don't want the depth of the prosthetic to get lost in your makeup, because that's what makes the prosthetic awesome, is that it actually looks like it has some depth to it. Let that dry, and then we'll go into blending it out with foundation. The size of the bear bite, perhaps it was more one of her brothers. It's a smaller mouth. So far, I think it looks really cool. The liquid latex is almost dry, and when it dries, I'm going to start going in with some foundation, blending it in, and work from there. Of course, if you're doing this makeup look specifically for Merida, like a bear attack, you can go real bloody with it, you can go real detailed with it, you could do scars, you could do scratches, go crazy with it. Look up like movie scenes where people were attacked by bears, just really get into it. With this video, I was just showing you how to apply a prosthetic, and because this was the idea in my head, this is the prosthetic that I purchased. Let's talk price. This prosthetic was actually $12, but Spirit Halloween always has a 20% off coupon. So I got a little bit cheaper, and these prosthetics are usually a little reusable. So once you take them off, you can store them in a baggie and then use them at a later time. They're good for 2 or 3 uses before they start to pull apart. So you really can get your money's worth out of it, especially if you have a specific character like Merida in mind and want to do a gore princess look at a convention. You could do 3 days worth of Bear Attack Merida before the prosthetic would give out, maybe even more. So the liquid latex is mostly dry, so I'm going to go in with a foundation brush and just use my normal foundation and try to blend it out some. Once again, I'm being very careful not to get foundation and stuff on the depth, on the like deeper part of the prosthetic, because I want to keep that. I want to keep that deepness, that deep set bite mark. Now I'm going to use the Wet n Wild paint palette in neutrals and a little brush, and I'm going to go into the brown like terracotta shade here. And what I'm going to do is go around the edge of this prosthetic with that terracotta shade, just to emphasize the depth a little bit more. And I'm adding in this terracotta shade around the outside of it to create a bit of like a bruising effect. Because if you don't add a little bit of like browns and purples around this, it's gonna look like a prosthetic versus a wound, because wounds are not this clean. And then I'm gonna use the same brush and go into the darker brown and go into the deepest parts of this prosthetic. And by adding the brown into the deeper parts, I'm emphasizing the depth a little bit more. And now comes the best part, scab blood. Gonna get some of the scab blood on a fluffy brush and then just go to town with it. But I'm also remembering to keep my depth. So don't just cover the whole thing in scab blood. Cover the deep parts in scab blood. And then of course blood would splash, so you want to create that splash effect around the wound. And there you go, a very fresh bear bite. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do some scratches on the cheek. And when a bear scratches, it's usually all four claws, and they go in sort of a, it's almost like a crescent shape. So I'm going to do that crescent shape on this cheek. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to draw the shapes out with an eyebrow pencil, and then I'm going to fill it in and do some blood around it. Okay, I'm going to use this brush, and I'm going to go into the dark brown and just fill in those spaces. Alrighty, and now I'm going to take the blood brush again and then go into those with some scab blood. And what I just did there was I used the black Wet n Wild paint pot to create some depth by outlining the outside. And then lastly, with the face, I'm going to be using some liquid latex to just create like a bit of a skin texture around the scratches. And the reason I did that is to add a bit of a skin texture. Once it dries, I should be able to pick at it and make it look like the skin is peeling off of the cheek. Okay, now that the liquid latex is dry, I'm going to be taking a nail tool, actually. This is a nail dotting tool. I'm going to be getting underneath the liquid latex and just sort of raising it up so that it looks like the skin is raised. And with that, I finish off the Merida bear attack look. We're just going to say that one of the smaller bears attacked her, maybe her brothers, just because of the size of the prosthetic that I had to go with. But I hope this has given you some sort of idea or inspiration. I really enjoyed doing this one because I thought about it. I thought of it in the middle of the night. I was like just going through the different Disney princesses and thinking, what could I possibly do for Merida? Because Merida is one of my favorites. Archery is my thing. So during brainstorming, I was like, what if she was attacked by a bear? And then it went into me actually going to an actual store to find a prosthetic, because I've never really shown you how to do a prosthetic before on my channel. I thought this was the perfect opportunity to do that. So happy that they had a bite prosthetic that I could work off of, and I'm kind of happy with it. So for the comments down below, tell me what your favorite Merida moment is. Mine is from Wreck-It Ralph 2, when she's talking about how she turned her mummy into a bear. Love that scene. And that scene's just really cute. But I loved Brave as a movie. I think it's wonderful. And archery, yay! Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come around again soon. Say bye. Bye.
See you real soon.